Hello, welcome to another instalment of Inside Real Estate. Today we're here with Camilla from Unfolded and we're going to talk all things interior design. So Camilla, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And tell us a little bit about your journey from where you started to here and also how Unfolded, your business, came about.
Yeah, thank you. So initially I've had 8 years in the industry and I did my Bachelor of Design, majoring in interior design. I've worked across fabrics, lighting, soft furnishings, and then I've spent around about 5-6 years in property styling and then interior design as well.
And the name Unfolded, where did that come about?
Unfolded, yes. So I guess for me, I didn't want to have anything too mainstream Camilla Ingle design or anything like that. I was away last September and I thought I need something punchy. I need a one word. And I thought, projects, they're unfolding. They're constantly unfolding. And that's my experience of it. So I thought, well, Unfolded.
I've noticed that what you talked in the intro before, we mentioned that you've been doing a lot of things around interior design and property, even flooring, but you've really been around the sort of housing products and homes and styles. Is it something that is this always been your thing? Or?
Yeah, when I was around 12 to 16, I was actually obsessed with The Sims. Do you remember The Sims, Andrew?
I do, yes. I used to, SimCity, I loved that. Yeah.
And I guess I was staying up late at night creating layouts, creating communities, putting it all together, thriving off that. Absolutely.
It was addictive, yeah, very much.
It was addictive, hours and hours spent. So I think from that sort of time, even, my parents used to say, gosh, you must end up in interior design. It's just going to happen. And I got to 18, I thought I can craft a career out of this.
Yeah.
Why not?
That's funny. Yeah. My dad always said, you're either going to be a salesman or a politician. So
you never
here we
know.
are. Yeah, well, let's just maybe stick to one rather than both of those tags. So during that journey that you've came here, have you found, is there anything you've learned along the way that's really helped you to this moment?
Yeah, I guess the biggest thing is probably proportion and palette. So that's a big one I find that my clients either have challenges in or find organic for themselves, but particularly proportion. So I'm finding that a lot of the time when I'm helping clients source certain things, they'll go and source it by themselves and it's either too big or too small for the space, and it's because it hasn't been sourced to scale. But it's them just loving what they want to do and getting really excited about the project, and then I sort of come in and go, okay, maybe I can help you and guide you from here.
So Camilla, what would you say the best piece of advice you could give is?
Yeah, I would say, not only keeping it simple and also timeless. So I think a lot of clients, again, like we were saying earlier, they get quite caught up in the itsy bitsy bits, and they're not really thinking, okay, am I going to love this in 5 years, 10 years time?
So like black taps?
Yes,
right.
Black taps, matte versus gloss, things like that. So I think it's quite, again, check in with me if you can. Let's go back to what we said from the start. But again, if they're doing it by themselves, for example, I think the best piece of advice is when you're really looking at your colour palette and things that are just going to be long term. So potentially keep it neutral. If you're unsure, keep it neutral. Add pops of colour as you go. So keep it within a comfort zone if you're really unsure. And just remember it's progressive. So I guess from an advice perspective, if I'm not actually helping them, I would say just remember it's progressive. You can change it up at any time and just go bit by bit.
So what about trending?
Trending, okay. So I guess when it comes to styles, what I'm finding a lot lately is people are really wanting to entertain indoor, outdoor. So when their friends, family, everyone's popping over, especially around Christmas, Easter long weekend, things like that, they're wanting to really just open things up. So in terms of our renovations, we're starting to do a lot of the credenza door or the glass door that slides all the way into the wall, and it's all very minimalist, all very streamlined. You're bringing your indoor furniture out and outdoor in. So in terms of trends, there's a lot of new eco-friendly / indoor-outdoor fabrics that are being sort of upholstered over certain pieces that you can take in and out, and it's that transition, which is quite easy for.
Yeah, and we see in certainly our side of things, floor plans are, floor plans sell houses, and if people can change a floor plan, that's just as popular as one that is modern, but just because they want to do those things, that's right. And I guess it really brings the question I've got is that, I guess trending versus say classic, I mean, we all know that if something's trending also has the potential to date as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's the difference there? Should you, focus on a trending thing or be wary of that? Should you focus on something classic? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I feel like it's very circumstantial. So, a lot of the time, if you're, say, renovating, which you would find renovating to sell in comparison to from renovating to live.
Like a flipper, yeah.
Exactly, flipping houses. So that's where you would probably focus more so on the trends, because within the 6 months that you're maybe doing that, 6 months to a year, there's going to be certain things that are really everywhere that everyone's loving and really getting into. So they'll have that appreciation when they enter the, walk in through that open home. Otherwise, if you're really wanting to prepare your home for, say, a 15, 20-year stint, you've just had 2 kids or whatever it may be, you're really wanting to make a comfort zone, I would be looking at more longevity, not so much what's trending.
Well, we know a big thing with real estate too is that, it's important that, I guess if you're ever to sell a property again, that money you're putting into it, if the home makes sense to people and it does flow from end to end, it is very powerful. Those finished homes, when people are trying to make their home finished, I mean, something that's being renovated is fine, but if it's a home that is on the market and supposed to be finished, if it has that proper flow, where people can really sum it up pretty quickly, it is really powerful for buyers. They just go, yep, I love it. I don't need to see the whole house. I'm always in love with it already. But just that whole end-to-end experience is
First
really
impression.
good. So, which is obviously hard to achieve, but that's where, experts like yourself come in. So Camilla, one of the things that we do see when people are thinking of selling, some people have done a fantastic job with their home, and it's really on point, it's looking great, but there's just that, they just want that, that little magic touch to it. Like, can they incorporate your services to just bring them in and give it that once over just to bring it up to point?
100%. So as you know, property styling for the whole home can be expensive. So this case does come up quite a bit. And I think it's really beneficial for the client when, for example, they do have their beautiful sofa that might be fairly new and they are taking that to the new home along with the rug, but the coffee table, the armchairs, not so sure about, maybe the floor lamp as well. So they might think, okay, well, I'd like to go and get something that will work with my existing pieces. Who can help me with that? And that's where I come in. So that's where I can help them even just source it. It could, again, be a Saturday thing, or it could be over a couple of weeks prior to the sale, and then I can just help them where to go, what to do, and again, provide them with that initial consultation.
Yeah, so they might have that fantastic house, everything's done and organised, but maybe the couch is just well past its use by date.
That's it.
And they just want that one piece, but rather than hiring it, if you can sort of have a look at, as like you said, where they're moving to or what they want, maybe it could just be a piece that they purchase and then take with them when they go. So just those little touches you can add on top of that as well. So Camilla, with the DIYers, there's people probably that will be watching this that are halfway through it, doing it themselves or about to do it themselves and just really feel like they still want to tackle it themselves. There are a lot of people out there like that.
Midway.
What's the piece of gold? What's the best advice you can give those people?
Yeah, I would say, so probably top 3 things would be planning, proportion, and consistency. They're my 3 biggest if I was to live by anything or swear by anything. But my strongest piece of advice would be really focusing on your taste versus what's trending. And I know it's hard, it's in all the magazines and social media, we see it everywhere. We just want to get on top of that, make it happen in our own homes, prove it to everybody that we're doing the right thing, but really come back to what you love, come back to what is your personal taste, because you've got to wake up every morning and love where you live.
So there's a lot of discipline in that, really, I guess, isn't there? I guess that's where you come into it, but because imagine you go to different shops to source different things, and then you're going to meet, experts in different fields, and everyone's going to have an opinion.
With the latest trends,
so challenging, but just stick to those 3 big things that'll really help you.
Yeah, and keep it consistent. Even something like the sofa leg. It might be walnut, then you've got an oak coffee table, and then you've got a pine finish on your dining table, and then your joinery in the kitchen might be different again. You can get caught up in what looks good just chatting to certain people at certain times, and then you get it all delivered and it's all mismatched. So there's certain things with just keeping that consistency happening as well.
Well, I'd strongly suggest that they call you, but ultimately, I love a saying out there, which is, you can give people the ingredients, but it doesn't make them a chef. That's why I'd say still call Camilla, but if they want to have a crack at it, at least stick to those rules.
Yeah,
fantastic.
100%. Yeah.
Would you say as well, I think a lot of people might assess this as a luxury to use this, but I mean, I guess if people are going out and buying things willy-nilly and not really knowing maybe where to buy things, does it necessarily mean that it's always going to be much more expensive when they're using your services because there's, I guess, your time and expertise, and then are you just taking them to places where furniture is 10 times dearer than what they can find elsewhere? Or is there maybe a bit more of some smarts in that where some of those more premium products can fit together, but because it's more streamlined, that potentially overall it's similar value? Or how do you find that plays out?
Yeah, and I see what you're saying. I feel that a lot of clients sort of want to go and do it very independently. They want to feel like they're ticking all those boxes, but essentially the time that they spend researching for something that I know is available in stock, ready to go in 10 minutes, So some people
what's their
sort
time
of
worth?
So it's time and it's money, but that's the time piece. When it comes to cost, I can also assist with trade pricing. So as an interior designer, I have all my suppliers set up. So what happens is the client will come to me, they'll say, you know, I want to have these rooms, these are my primary rooms that I really want to source items for, this is my budget. They could spend 6-7 weeks looking for that. Spend something, you know, full price, for example, wait 10 weeks for it to come in, and then it's wrong. You know, so there's so many things that can go wrong. So I think for the time and money that you're investing in a designer that's going to work efficiently as well, that's a big one, then you will benefit from that.
So what's the one question you get asked all the time?
All the time. I would say people sort of, you know, whether it's general public, friends of friends at networking meetings, whatever it might be, everyone says, you must have a favourite style. You must love something. Do your clients, what happens if they don't love that? And I'm thinking, it shouldn't matter. It doesn't matter what I love. I mean, my passion and the way I like to really curate things is coastal contemporary with a splash of minimalism. You might not like any of that. For example, you might like country, traditional, classic. So it really varies, and I think what I try and say is you've got to make it your own. My style doesn't come into it. This is your home. We're creating this to what you're going to live in. You've got to love it at the end of the day. So.
And when I hear you say that, that to me makes me feel like people probably feel that just having an idea of what things look good together is enough to do the job, but really with, you know, your background and your education in that, it is a discipline in relation to various styles, right? So you're working towards those skill sets and those disciplines without being biased on your opinion, as opposed to saying, I love that, I just want to do that in every house. And that's the difference between an expert and maybe someone who's just dabbling in it or trying to do it themselves, right?
Yeah, or creating a really consistent portfolio.
Yeah, fantastic. So Camilla, thanks for being on the show. It's been really, really informative. I've learned a lot. I'm sure others have as well, and I'm sure people are definitely going to profit from your knowledge on this one. If you want more information on Camilla, feel free to go straight to our website where you can contact her directly, or you can call ourselves and we can put you in touch. We've also tagged her in the post, and until next time, thanks for watching.